What's up guys, Toy Bro here, and today we're going back to an older Masters of the Universe Classics figure, something we haven't done here in, I don't know, a couple months at this point, just because there's been so much new product out for the longest time. So figured I'd take a moment to look back at an older figure in the Classics line. We're taking a look at the 2000X character from the Mike Young production show, CALLIX. So this guy is a rather obscure character. There isn't a lot to his character, a lot to his backstory. He is just a cool rock guy. He's a member of the Evil Horde, and he is in the 2000X show for just a few moments, a very, very short period of time, and Hordak just annihilates him. So he's basically in the show to show just how evil and ruthless and powerful Hordak really is. Interesting figure, a lot of cool parts to him. He's an interesting use of kind of the MOTU Classics buck. So let's take a look at kind of articulation and paint and all that good stuff. We'll start with articulation. So the head can swivel from side to side. It's basic standard articulation. His kind of rocky collar, I guess, is going to get in the way a little bit, but not too much. He still has decent side to side, and he's got some up and down. The shoulders are covered by a rubbery piece here, so they can move up. There's not much hindrance in terms of articulation. They can't go all the way around though, so you're gonna hit that shoulder piece there. We've got our standard single joint at the elbow, and then we've got wrist rotation. He has a crunch, but it doesn't go over 100%, but it does go over quite a bit for such a big character. And then he goes quite a bit back. There is our standard waist twist. Legs go out damn near 100%. Legs go forward a decent bit, but they do hit this rock loincloth, I guess, is the best way to describe it. They do go back a bit. We've got our thigh cut, single jointed knee, and then he does have a, if I can get it right there, a boot cut, a boot, and he's got rotation at the ankle. But there's not much else. He doesn't really have a great deal of motion, and that just comes down to overall sculpt choices. I did mention that he is a reuse of parts, so this is for the most part a standard MOTU Classics figure. But as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on here, so all of these pieces are added on to the normal buck for a MOTU Classics figure. We've got like the rocky chest piece, and it's glued on to the figure. We've got, again, the rubbery pieces on the shoulders. He does reuse the same shoulders underneath that we have on characters like Buzz-Off and Whiplash and Clawful. So they kind of have that rocky look to him to begin with. And then he's got all these other rocky pieces all over the forearms. He's got the loincloth again. It's a rubbery plastic. We've got the rocky boot pieces as well as the feet. So they make him look a lot bigger than your average MOTU Classics character, but he's really not a great deal larger than any other figure. I do like the overall rocky aesthetic of him. I think he looks really, really cool. I think he looks a little more imposing in figure form than he did in the show, honestly. The big draw for this guy for me is the head, because I think he looks really, really cool. I am a big fan of how they managed to give him kind of a rock beard in that face sculpt. He looks very unhappy, very mean, very horde-like, but he's still kind of different in terms of just his general look from most MOTU characters. There aren't tons of rock people unless you're going to go, you know, Rock On and Stondar and Granita, but they're very different in terms of their design as well. So overall, I'm very happy with what they did to make him, while still kind of incorporating all of the same we have to reuse parts philosophy for this line. As far as paint goes, there is surprisingly a decent amount here. So we've obviously got the kind of light brown sandy look on the Horde emblem, and then on the Hordak logo on the belt area. But in all of these rocky pieces, there are lighter and darker shades of gray. I can guarantee you, it's very hard to make out on this video, but there is a lot of actual shading going on inside these pieces, inside the little nooks and crannies on the figure to make it stand out, so it's not just hunks of plastic. And then we do have those glossy black eyes in those deep set sockets. Now, as far as accessories goes, he has two. We've got this round shield, which is made to be held in his left hand just because of how offset the handle is, which is pretty normal for a MOTU Classics figure. They're generally meant to hold their shields on the left. and it's got, again, got that kind of sandstone look on the paintwork. And then he has a rather interesting axe. So this is clearly just a double-bladed axe for the most part. It's got that sandstone look on the handle, but it has an extra kind of, I don't know, a bonus use for it. So pull it out of his hand, turn it around, and there is another handle. So what you could do is pop it in his hand this way, and it is kind of a rocky interpretation of the Horde crossbow, which is kind of a cool little Easter egg to bring him even further into the Horde look and aesthetic. Overall, I think CALLIX is a pretty cool character. He is rather different, which I like. I'm always happy to have something a little different on the MOTU shelf. He is a character that I'm not sure anybody needed. Most people probably didn't really want him at the time, but he turned out really well for a character that really serves no great purpose in the overall MOTU mythos. He translated into figure form pretty decently. I like the reuse of parts. I like the new stuff. I like how they managed to make this guy unique while reusing parts. And he's a big, tall rock guy. What's not to like about him? He's a cool addition to MOTU as far as I'm concerned. I'm glad to have him. So that's going to do it for this look at the MOTU Classics CALLIX figure from Mattel. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time, everyone.